So a couple weeks ago, I made a video where I talked about what I find weird about America as a Japanese person, and some of you guys left comments saying that I should make a video where I talk about what I find weird about Japan or what I don't understand about Japan as a Japanese person. So yeah, I guess today's video is going to be me roasting my own country. You know, hey, Mr. I know so much about Japan. I know you're already getting ready to type a super long comment and trying to debunk me, but what I'm gonna tell you is based on my personal experience and impressions, so yeah, please keep that in mind.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
Alright, get it! There's too much paperwork in Japan. If you wanna date somebody, you need a paperwork. I mean, I'm just kidding, but seriously though, one thing that I hate about paperwork in Japan is that you have to handwrite your own resume. I mean, some companies, especially gaishikei or startups, they are fine with printed ones. They moved towards electronic applications or they accept printed resumes. But most of the companies, even big names like Sony, they would still expect you to handwrite your own resume with your picture attached to it. And the picture has to be taken by a professional, which costs a lot. I don't know how it works for expats in Japan, but if you're Japanese, that's their expectation, I think. Yeah. And Japanese university students, like before they graduate, on average, they would apply for at least 20 to 30 companies. So yeah, they would handwrite at least 20 to 30 resumes. And you cannot use pencil, so if you make a mistake, kanji mistake, even a little one, you have to start all over again. So yeah, you can imagine how tiring and stressful it can get. And the reason why Japanese companies still do this is that apparently your handwriting says so much about your personality and character. I guess I can understand their logic a little bit, that they can weed out resumes with messy handwriting because probably they are not so serious about it. But you cannot judge people solely by their handwriting, right? Because there are shitty people with a beautiful handwriting and there are beautiful people like me with a horrible handwriting. So yeah, this custom needs to be abolished right away. This mother freaking toilet. They freaking persevere, guys. No matter how much we hate them, they still keep making those, old-fashioned, traditional Japanese squat toilets. But this doesn't mean we like them, okay? If people had two options, whether they use the regular toilet or Japanese squat toilet, I think 90% of people would use the regular toilet. Those who choose the squat toilet, they're just germophobic. They don't want their butt to touch the toilet seat. I don't get it. I mean, I kinda do get it, but just take a shower, right? But Shun, why are they still making them if the majority of people don't like the Japanese squat toilets? Well, for one, there is the fact that some people would still prefer the Japanese squat toilets, so there's some demand. And for two, apparently it is easier to clean them and the water use efficiency is much higher, so meaning lower cost in maintenance. So places where they don't have much funds, like public schools, for example, the majority of toilets are still those Japanese squat toilets, except the ones for, people with disabilities. And the worst thing is that I cannot do Asian squat. I just can't. There's something wrong with my knees. Back in the day in my school, I was kind of bullied. I was accused of scattering poop all over the toilet. Because with Japanese squat toilets, you would sometimes encounter those disgusting ones, the ones that people who cannot aim used. I know people are just joking around, but for me as a middle schooler, I hated it. I freaking hated it. So yeah, those toilets need to vanish right away.
なら、春今日海鮮丼食べに行こうや。
あ、ごめん、俺海鮮丼食べられへんねん。俺生魚食べられへんねん。
お前それでも日本人かよ。ダッサー。
Oh my god, I don't know how many times I had this conversation. Unpopular opinion, but I think sushi and raw fish is kind of overrated. Don't get me wrong, I do admire those, super high-end professional sushi chefs, how much effort they put into their work. I do admire that, but at the same time, it's still just the rice and raw fish put together. How good can it be? But anyway, if you're a foreigner, there's no expectation for you to like raw fish. We kinda know that it's something you guys might not like, but if you're Japanese, if you don't like raw fish, you're screwed. There's this widespread assumption that every Japanese person should love sushi and raw fish. So yeah, so every time my friend dragged me to a sushi restaurant, I would sadly sit in the corner and eat a bowl of udon quietly. So a lot of people hate the fact that while Japan is known for its advanced technology, Japan is still a super cash-oriented society. I get it, especially if you are from a place where people use a credit card or a debit card everywhere they go to. It can be very annoying. But I don't think this really bothers Japanese people as much unless they have experienced how convenient it is to have every place they go to, accept their credit card or debit card. For me, it became annoying only after I came back from my study abroad in the US. But what frustrates me the most is the Japanese ATM machines. So if you are in a society where you are expected to carry around some cash all the time, chances are you need to use ATM machines a lot, right? But Japanese ATM machines make zero sense, seriously. First of all, they have their own operating hours. It's not 24 hours, so they usually close 8 or 9 p.m. Apparently, those ATM machines need a rest from being machines so that they can be machines again in the morning. And even if you manage to go to your bank's ATM before they close, if it's after like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., you would still get charged a couple hundred yen. And if you go to the ATM machines at a convenience store late at night or on weekends because your bank's ATMs are resting, you will get charged for like $3 for one single transaction. That's how literally they make money. So if you decide to move to Japan, you really have to get used to withdrawing money from ATM at a certain time of the day. Otherwise, you'll be losing a lot of money for these overpriced bank fees. So we have an insane number of natural disasters each year, right? Whether it's typhoons, heat waves, heavy rains, or earthquakes and tsunami, they're freaking scary. Especially the last two, earthquakes and tsunami. Japan is located where I think a total of 4 plates meet that are still moving till this day. So we know for sure that we will have a massive earthquake and tsunami once in a while. It's just inevitable. And even with the latest technology we have today, we cannot really predict exactly when and where it will happen. So I'm pretty optimistic about it. Like when I die, I die. But at the same time, like I think a lot of Japanese people have this persistent and constant fear of suffering from a natural disaster all the time. So yeah, that's not something we enjoy too much here in Japan. So Japan is kinda infamous for its lack of free Wi-Fi. So guys, when you come to Japan, actually before you come to Japan, please make sure to do some little research about mobile Wi-Fi or those little SIM cards that you can use temporarily. And this is why we Japanese people rely on mobile data most of the time. And basically there are 3 big phone carriers in Japan: Docomo, au, and SoftBank. And if you use one of those 3, which most people do, your monthly bill is gonna be around 9,000 yen. And this is not even unlimited data or calls, so if you want that, that would be over $100 easily. Yeah, that's how expensive it is. And there are other cheaper options as well, like using a minor carrier's SIM card and stuff like that, which I kinda did, but it was slower and it was around like 5,000 yen still. So I think that's why a lot of people would still prefer, those big companies. Yeah. But I've also heard that Japanese government is trying to lower the price as well. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. Apparently, this ranked #1 as the most unwanted or unnecessary tradition in Japan by Japanese people. So what it is, osebo and ochugen, it is a seasonal gift exchanging tradition in Japan. So we send gifts to relatives that live far away from where we live, or in-depth people in general. So it doesn't have to be your family member exactly. Like for example, for companies, they send gifts to their customers or clients and stuff like that. And this is done in order to maintain a good and healthy relationship with your family members that you don't really see often, aka people you don't really know and care about. Personally, I haven't had to go through this as I am still young and don't have a family yet. My parents did this all the time and they're not really a big fan either. I mean, having this expectation to send gifts to people twice a year can be a real pain in the neck, I can imagine that. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't do this tradition anymore is that a lot of people do this rather because it's a tradition and it has always been, not that they really care about the person they are sending the gift to. So yeah, I would hate to go through this when I get older. I mean, I know many people still believe in keeping this tradition, but I don't really care. I mean, I will send a gift for someone whenever I feel grateful for that person, whenever I want to send a gift to someone, not because it's a tradition. And also the fact that this is an exchange, not just one way. If you receive a gift from someone who you haven't sent gifts to, you're basically screwed and you have to rush to a department store and buy a pack of hams or beers. I don't know why, but it's always hams or beers. And yes, department stores sell those pre-packed gifts specifically for this season. So yeah, you could say that this is just their marketing strategy as well.
1年分の思いを込めて冬ギフトはプリマハム
Alright, so those are the things that I don't really like about Japan. I mean, at the end of the day, I still love my country, Japan, and every country has its own pros and cons, right? So yeah, what do you guys think about them? Do you guys think you can tolerate them if you're Japanese? Please let me know in the comment. So yeah, alright, thank you so much guys for watching my video today, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace!